Hi, and welcome to the SEO podcast, Unknown Secrets of Internet Marketing, where our mantra is,
don't be a douche.
Don't forget we are your friendly local neighborhood top position snatchers. And we already covered our mantra.
Yeah, I thought you was backwards.
I was definitely backwards.
You left out something else too.
Let's see. We'll get there.
Yeah, it'll come.
It'll come up. Remember, you are listening to the most popular SEO podcast on iTunes. That is because of you. And you over there, Bill, you over there, Tom, Frank, Harry. I actually have we have a listener in Lusaka, Zambia. That's in Zambia, Africa. Yeah. They downloaded one podcast. Hopefully they enjoyed it. Hopefully they're tuning in again.
Lusaka?
Yeah, Lusaka, which I'm probably mispronouncing.
Yeah, most likely.
Lusaka sounds Japanese and is like in the middle of Africa. Don't think there's that much Japanese influence there.
You have to say it differently. Lusaka.
Yeah, Lusaka. No, it's gonna have Lusaka. Like you're going into a great rhythm music. I also noticed there were 137 downloads in Paris, which is kind of cool. I'm wondering, that could be just one person, because we do have 140 some odd podcasts that are out there available for download. If you are listening to this and you're in Paris, I checked on the French version of iTunes. You haven't written a review yet. Yeah.
Blank stare at you.
That could have been our blank stare.
Yeah.
So,
137 from Paris.
From Paris, yeah.
Did you get what time frame that was?
Well, it was within a week.
Within a week.
Yeah. So.
Okay. Yeah, that's what's up.
Yeah.
Kinda. I'd like to know who you are.
Yeah.
Post a review.
Reach out to us. Get a punch in the face. Don't make us kick you in the shins.
Yeah.
I don't even know. So the tip from our previous podcast, maybe that's what you thought I left out, probably, was good internet marketing does start with a great website. We talk here ad nauseum about internet marketing, SEO, PPC, being social. And really the foundation of great internet marketing is a great website. And, it can't be explained any simpler than we had a client. They were doing PPC with another company. They wanted us to take over the PPC. We said, we are not going to do PPC until we redo your website, because it's just a waste of money.
Yeah, didn't want to spend the money on clicks sending them to a site that we knew wouldn't convert.
That would major in bounce.
Yeah.
So we redid their website. They were still under contract with the previous company. We launched the website. Their sales went up. Right? Same traffic, same budget from the previous company. New website, their sales go up. So literally, you do need to have a great website to get started. We've been working with a couple clients now where they say they don't have the budget to redesign, and we're trying to do landing pages. And I'm going to be straight up honest, that has not been very effective for us.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, because at the end of the day, we know that for a better conversion takes more than just a landing page. It's one thing to have a separate landing page that has the same look and feel of the existing site.
Right.
But if your current site is horrendous and we design a great looking landing page because you don't have the budget to do a new website, then if that traffic happens to make it to your current site, then there's your bounce.
All credibility's gone.
Yeah, everything.
Boom,
and
just
so,
immediately.
We prefer to redo that whole site. And
I probably have one or two of more of those projects in me, and because the results have been bad in previous cases, we probably won't do that again. There's something, it feels like it should work, and our experience has been that it hasn't.
Well, I think at the end of the day, it is going to depend on the client and their industry, because if your product or your service has a longer sales process, meaning they need to do a little bit of research, they have a few questions they need to ask, it may require them to read something else prior to contacting you, then a one-page landing page may not be sufficient.
It just won't work. Yeah,
it just won't work. But if your product is simple, it's a quick sale,
single page close.
Yeah, then filling out a form, not too much research involved, then it may work. We have PPC data to prove that.
Yeah.
But just moving
In
forward.
fact, we've tracked phone calls that haven't even gotten to the website.
landing,
We've
exactly.
put the phone numbers actually in the PPC ads, and they're unique phone numbers that we're able to track, and we're like, wow, we're actually getting phone calls directly from the PPC ad. And again, just for clarity, if they click the PPC ad, they go to the website, and on that website is a different number. So we literally know it's the
ad
itself that's getting the phone call.
Yeah.
A little bit of news. There were let's see, the U.S. is going to try and shut out the mega upload got shut down, and they're about to determine what to do with the servers. And it looks like the U.S. is going to try and keep the mega upload lawyers out of that hearing. And that seems
wrong.
That doesn't seem American, frankly.
That seems
like,
wrong.
yeah, that seems wrong. Like, they should at least be able to go in there and say,
fight
say
for the
something.
servers.
Yeah, fight for the servers.
Fight for all the data. Fight for everything that's been uploaded.
Yeah, it's just kind of weird.
Fight for the users who were using it legally.
Right. All three of them. All right. It's a high lawyer to customer ratio. Apple, there's a couple ads out. Articles. Apple is going to unveil a revolutionary product in 8 months. And I've been theorizing. I finished Steve Jobs' biography, and I kind of had the feeling, because of the way of all the length of time he was involved in all of his other projects, that he certainly had time to be working on
something
one more
else.
before he passed. And so, maybe that one more is about to come out in the next 8 months. And there's all sorts of theories.
They didn't leave any clues or
none
about
what
it is.
We're working on really good. He even said, for the last 7 years, I've been going monthly to visit Steve Jobs, and since he passed, I've been going to visit his wife. So that just makes it even more confounding, right? Yeah. So I think
what could it be like?
So there are some theories that it could be a remote control. Although I don't know how you could make a remote control revolutionary.
Yeah, that's why.
Because Harmony, their remotes are awesome, right? Like, you connect them to the internet, you add your devices, you program them. They're just phenomenal. The other thing they were talking about is potentially like an integrated Apple TV, and that's where I would kind of lean. I think there's a lot of room for the kind of ecosphere integration that came with the iTunes, iPad, iPhone, iPod, and then now the games. And then iTV. I think maybe it's taking all negotiating and getting a better deal across the board for those. That would be pretty revolutionary, because Apple TV just hasn't taken off. It does some nice tricks, but really I'm even kind of looking for a way to totally get rid of cable. And you've got Hulu out there. You've got you can actually I could if I had an Apple TV, I borrowed one time. If I had one, I could project my iPad onto the Apple TV, or you could use Apple TV to buy shows and everything. It's just they're a little delayed, and it wasn't comprehensive. Like, I might be able to get some shows here, but I couldn't get them there, and so
I think I'm too big of a sports fan to get rid of cable right now.
Although, I was reading an interesting article in our library on the MLB, and they have an insane amount of technology behind their broadcasts and everything. And so you subscribe to MLB, and you can get every game on every device you have. So, that is another option, depending on your sport of choice.
Yeah, because, cable, I don't know. It's that, and then, of course, our cable providers are also our ISPs.
Internet providers,
so, I don't think cable's going anywhere no time.
I tell you, sometimes, though, I like just to sit down on the couch and see what's on. I don't want to, I need to get caught up on XYZ series, New Girl, or Big Bang Theory, or whatever. I just want to sit down and kind of click through, and if something catches my attention, I want to watch it. And there's a big difference between going to Blockbuster and choosing a movie that you've seen 10 times, and then which I would almost never do, But if it happens to be on,
I might watch it.
Right? That's a totally different kind of way of interacting. Last piece of news. This is interesting. Virus found in a fake Angry Birds space for Android. This is the first time I've actually heard of an Android virus. How about you?
First time ever.
Yeah.
Virus found in a fake Android space.
Angry Birds space.
The game.
So if you get it from the market, or which is now called Play.
Yeah. Google Play.
Google Play Space or something. I forget what the icon says. Just Play something, right? Just look that up.
I think it's this Play. Yeah, Play Store.
Play Store. You'll be fine. If you go to, there's lots of other websites that have different apps and whatever, and some of those websites have an Angry Bird space, which you don't have to worry about if you're on Windows. All right, we got a couple of reviews. This is another one from, I think it was the Netherlands. World class for a reason. By the way, apparently people in the Netherlands write really long reviews.
They have a lot to say.
This podcast is world class for the simple reason they know what they are talking about. Chris Burris and Paul Hansen, so he's a longtime listener, have a long track record with a podcast which started in 2009 and admit when they don't know something, but they get back to it. With adding Charles Lewis, a.k.a. Chuck, a.k.a. the SEO rapper, might have been, the show improved even more. The podcast is informative, mixed with fun, and they keep their eyes on new developments in the field of SEO and internet marketing. They have around 3,000 downloads a week. We're at 7 now. Including other sources, and that means a lot. Start with the first one, and let them take you through a journey. Avoid all the common pitfalls of SEO. They answer questions from listeners and adapt to suggestions like the Geno time limit. They also develop a great community on Facebook with their listeners. I think this podcast is world class, and they have listeners from different countries to prove it.
Who was it?
Cool. That was it was Juiced Coke, and I think we've read.
The name sounds familiar.
Maybe he posted
another internet TV, by the way. Punch in the face, Mr. Coke. Yeah.
Thank you. And then this was actually recent on iTunes in the U.S. Extremely enjoyable and informative. I've been listening for a few months now, and this podcast has improved along the way. Usually the focus is on one key point of SEO. It covers the fundamentals, as well as more subtle points such as Google penalizing certain changes. The chemistry and humor between Chris and Charles make it entertaining. The fact that their mission statement is as irreverent as "Don't be a douche" is just perfect. I highly recommend you tune in for a show or two,
or 3 or 4 or 145. And speaking of 145, if you're watching right now and you have a mobile device or you in front of some sort of social media platform, do me this favor. Tweet us. Hashtag SEO Podcast 145. Tag us at E-Webstyle. Let us know you're watching. Really want to be cool. Include a link. And appreciate you doing that for us.
And if you're on Google Plus, just stop by our website and plus one us.
Yeah.
Actually, I think you need to go to e-webstyle.com/SEO podcast and plus one that page, please. And I got one more thing. This is from Facebook. This is Ollie Broad. Hi guys, I wrote a review in iTunes back on 17th of August 2010, and I'm pretty sure I've listened to all 165 shows, which is amazing.
Yeah, that's like, what are we talking about next week?
Yeah, could you let us know? We can actually broadcast a little earlier. And not heard it mentioned. I also sent an email at the time to let you know, but I didn't hear back. The review is still on iTunes in Australia. He tried to copy and paste. He's got a couple of websites. First off, punch in the face for reaching out to us again. Candlebaglantern.com.
Candlebag lantern?
Right, you know those so you put a candle in those bags and then they float up.
Oh, okay, those.
That's what I'm thinking it is.
Hopefully, because
can't
think anything else.
The other option, because I did this once for Halloween with my brother, is you put a little bit of sand in a white kind of lunch bag and put a candle in it, and then you line the streets on Halloween. I did that at my brother's once, so it was cool. It was actually really cool. I don't know if I didn't visit the website, so it's probably a porn site.
Yeah. Sound like a candle.
Candle bag lantern. ukpaperlanterns.co.uk.
That kind of makes me think the things in the sky now.
And then the glassvotivecandleshop.com.au. I love the show, and like I say, I've listened to every single one. And then he did go back and correct and say he's listened to only 139 shows, which makes us feel less, out of the future. The Bermuda Triangle, less Bermuda Triangle-ish. Remember, you can follow us on Facebook. That's facebook.com/E-Webstyle. On Twitter, it's twitter.com/E-Webstyle. On YouTube, it's youtube.com/E-Webstyle. And you can email us at podcast@e-webstyle.com. Excellent. I'm done. Peace. Done? Out.
Alright, so I pulled some content, and I actually got 2 different articles here, and we'll cover the first one, and barring our time, we'll see if we get to the second one, which probably not.
Okay.
But what I wanted to talk about today was e-commerce, because I was thinking about our past 3 clients.
That's true, yeah.
Our past 3 clients have been e-commerce sites, and
we really haven't focused much on e-commerce on our podcast.
Exactly. Podcast is usually kind of small business oriented. Our plumbers is our to-go example, and so. But I wanted to spend some time talking about e-commerce. More importantly, how to get ranking for e-commerce. Because and so before I get into this, I wanted to first acknowledge some of the issues that people tend to run into with e-commerce sites, and it's usually dupe content is by far the most
prevalent
issue that people have, because they're either getting products from manufacturers or competitors, frankly, who also sell the same exact products, and therefore they copy the image, and so that image URL is a dupe URL. The image title is dupe. The product description is
duplicate content.
I mean, everything from the price. I mean, so this whole page is dupe content. And if the product has the exact same name and your CMS, let's say, changes the URL and the page title to the product title, then you have duplicate URLs. I mean, so it's dupe content all the way around with e-com sites. So that's the first problem.
Yep. In fact, we had an email or a Facebook question, I think, or a Twitter question or something recently. Same thing. I don't know if that's why you researched this particular topic, but somebody hit us up and said, I think it was on Twitter, and said, is it a challenge when you're using the manufacturer's description?
Oh, I do remember that vaguely. Yes, it is. And I think my answer was, rewrite it if possible, which is kind of one of the solutions I have in this article here. So let's get into it. Well, and the article really focuses on video. Google did the algorithm update called Fresh, and the Fresh update was all about, new content, fresh content, updated content. And so what I wanted to do was talk about that particular update.
That's the one we called Ziploc.
Ziploc, right? Yes, sir. Google Ziploc.
It was
keep it fresh.
Inappropriately titled, in our humble opinion.
Should have called it Ziploc. That just would have been cooler.
Yeah.
But and so I wanted to talk about Ziploc Fresh in regards to an e-com site and how you can improve your rankings using video. And so a few of the things it says was be unique. Right, and I think that kind of goes without saying. Don't rely on the product videos and manufacturer videos. So, for example, if you're selling, Samsung Nexus by Google on your site, don't just use the video that Samsung put out or that Google released about the Nexus demo. Instead, create your own. Give your own viewpoint. Do your own video, give it your own title, put it on your own YouTube page, and put that on your site. Google will see that and have a lot more appreciation for you generating some unique original content rather than the same demo video that's on everybody else's who's selling the same exact phone. Also, be fresh. Like, for example, my phone just got updated to Android 4.04. And so that would be a good time if I was selling this phone to redo another video about the Android update and how it works with the phone and how I'm enjoying it and how some of the features it has, for 2 reasons. One, it's new and fresh updated content, and 2, somebody else probably had a similar experience and may have questions, and if they search for it, then I've put content that can help them.
Right.
Another one on here was listen, and I really like listen. He says, pay attention to what people are saying. in the news and online conversations, on social media channels, this and that. So I always go back to Google Alerts, right? I think alerts are one of the best products Google created. And so use those alerts. If you're selling devices, right, then set up an alert for Nexus. Set up an alert for the new iPad. Set up an alert for the Samsung Galaxy 2.
Right.
And that way you can be aware of all the conversations that are happening on the internet. And then you can respond accordingly. You can, if you find a conversation on Twitter, follow that person, retweet that person, jump in the conversation. If you find something on G+, add a comment, link to your video you just did, and things like that that are relevant to the conversation. It's not spammy because it's contextual and it is on the subject and on the topic. And in that way you can be aware of what your potential clients are saying. Another thing was monitor, and I like this one. We'll be doing this on these new sites we're working on.
By the way, just if you guys haven't heard of Google Alerts, Google it.
Yeah.
And basically what it is you can put in a search phrase, and anytime new content comes onto the web, or anytime Google indexes new content that would be relevant to that search phrase, they send you an email, or you can schedule it to happen instantaneously, so that you can kind of see how what new information is out there about that particular search term. Mm-hmm. Great example is we did an interview with Chuck a long time ago, and this is like 2 years ago. Yeah.
I think
Wow. And so then we would, mention Chuck every now and then in our podcast, and because our podcast is transcribed and put online, and because Chuck has an alert for, in this case, I think the SEO Wrapper, we say the SEO Wrapper a couple times, and he reaches back out to us. We have another interview, and then here we are moving forward. That's a great example of how Google Alerts work.
Yeah, I mean, they work not just for that, but for branding. I have alerts set up for SEO Wrapper, for Charles Lewis, for Poetic Prophet, for E-Webstyle,
right.
And I'll have them all set based on importance. For like my name, Charles Lewis, once a week, everything Google has indexed that week.
Yeah.
I found out that there was somebody in somewhere in the UK, dude named Charles Lewis, who was on the run for murdering 4 people.
Not me.
Yeah, I didn't do it. But same exact. Matter of fact, Charles Lewis Jr.
It's like, I don't even know what he looks like, but he doesn't look like me.
So then I have SEO Wrapper. Those come daily. Anything about SEO comes to me as soon as it happens, which I'll probably be changing because I get repeat stuff of us.
Oh, yeah.
So set up some Google Alerts that way you can monitor what's going on in your industry.
And that's how you found somebody who had linked to your SEO Wrapper video recently. You sent me that link this week.
And so, I mean, it's a good way and it's great for branding and and PR, more importantly, because if someone says something negative, you'll get that as well.
Yeah.
And that gives you the opportunity to respond to it, to address it, rather than just let it be out there and you don't know about it. So, set up some alerts. That's across the board, not just with video marketing. After that, respond, right? Which kind of goes to what we were just saying.
Yeah.
When you come across these things, respond to them. I skipped one. Monitor. Keep an eye on what consumers are searching for on your website. So if you have an e-com site, then you should probably have a search bar on your site. Run queries. See what people have searched for on your site, because they may not search for this phone. They may be looking for this phone, but they call it something different, or they just use a totally different search phrase. And he goes on to say here that not only should you create a page if you've seen a lot of similar searches for the same thing, create a page for that, so that way their search results will actually give them something they can use and not say not found, but do that. And more importantly, if it's worth it, create a video for that,
right?
Explaining what it is and kind of really
why it is you called it the wrong name.
Exactly. Direct them to what they should have been looking for. And by the way, here it is. It's nice and shiny. And click down there because we have it on sale, sort of deal. So definitely monitor what people are searching for on your site. He goes on to say, encourage text conversations and reviews around your videos. I got this bit of information from a blog post I read a couple months ago, and the article was about how to write blog posts that generate results and go viral,
right.
Things like that. And one of the things he keyed in on was always close the post with the question. And when you close the post with the question, then people answer the question in the comments.
Right.
And then when people answer questions, nobody has the same viewpoints, and therefore that generates conversation and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
I thought that was phenomenal. And
Yeah.
so I think it's kind of the same thing here, especially with the video. Close your video out with maybe not a question, but something that encourages people to take action, to comment about it, to share it.
Well, you could do, like with the Nexus example, you could do something like, hey, anybody out there who has a Nexus, how would you make it better? Is there anything that's problematic for you?
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead and click down there and add a comment.
Exactly. And so encourage people to do stuff. Why? Because that's user-generated content. Google loves it. It's on your site. And then he went on to say use some tools for that. Even if you don't want to use the standard, let's say, comment feature with WordPress or something like that, then integrate the Facebook comments and make it social.
Yeah.
Now you have a social conversation going on. Same thing with G+. And so take advantage of that. Test. After you do this, test it. Run analytics. Go look at what pages work, which videos you put on which pages. For example, I could probably have 2 Nexus pages, one with the custom unique video, one with the demo video from Google. Let's see which one has the most views on my site. See which ones, convert the most. I would even probably put different CTAs on those pages and things like that. So definitely do some testing to make sure you are focusing your efforts on which one is working.
And with e-commerce pages, it's usually pretty simple to make one change to a product page, and then you could do some A/B variant testing with that. So tweak it. We know, one of the kind of psychological studies that I often go back to is the one where they were on a college campus. They were selling jams, and they had 4 flavors of jams, and they sold 4 flavors for about a week, and then they turned around and they sold 24 flavors. And our kind of intuition is well, with 24 flavors, there'll be something for everyone. The reality is as soon as the decision gets too complicated, people are more likely to say no.
Not make a decision at all.
So they sold more when they only had 4 options. And so by the time somebody gets to a product page, so often you see a product page and it's just clouded with other places you could go.
Mm-hmm.
Really simplify. Try simplifying your product page. I mean, if you've reworked your content so that you've changed it and it's not duplicated from the manufacturer anymore, you may end up that page may end up placing well when people search for that product. And when they get to that product, they're looking for it. Don't distract them with everything else you offer.
Yeah, with
not only do we have the phone, but we have 100 other phones, and then somebody who came there to buy a Nexus is like, oh, well, let me check out this phone. Oh, and the Windows phone, Angry Birds.
Yeah.
And so now they're distracted from the reason they came there because your website distracted them.
Yeah, you distracted them with some of the other problems e-commerce sites have are these long, horrendous navigations.
Yep.
Right, category navs.
Yeah.
Simplify. I mean, vary pages, and when I say that, like sub pages, and use breadcrumbs and things like that.
Breadcrumbs are better than continuing that same menu through the whole thing.
Yeah, and so these are things that we look at from a development space and from a CVO perspective.
Yeah.
We want people to convert, and so let's see. The last one on here was rotate. Add video user reviews to existing content and rotate new reviews in regularly. And so depending on your CMS, you can probably find a plugin or something like that will do that for you. As you get new reviews, then kind of cycle them out, and so that way you end up with the fresh Ziploc appearance on your site. This isn't the same stagnant review that you've always had. These reviews are changing.
There's a website, actually Christina Hawkins with Global Spec sent this week that they help coordinate video testimonials from your clients. And I thought it's a pretty interesting idea. I wonder what the stats are on people who have cameras on their computers. I mean, I know laptops typically come with it, iPads and phones. Most smartphones have a front-facing camera.
Yeah.
So kind of my message back to her was I really would only be interested. I got to make sure it works in an iPad and iPhone, because it's, I have a camera at home. It's not plugged in. I have a camera here at the office. That's it right there. It's the one we use for our podcast. I think the statistics are probably a lot lower than people think about how many people have cameras on their phone.
Well,
on
not
their
just
computers.
that, but how many people would actually
take the
use
time
it?
and is it set up properly? Yeah, it's so
who knows how to do it, right? I mean, there's a learning curve there.
It's probably a much greater thing to do through like an iPad app or an Apple app or an Android app, because then there's no setup. The camera's use the front-facing camera, the speaker, mic, hold it here, go.
Yeah. Well, maybe it's something we look into. Maybe it's a way to make the app do that for you.
Right.
After the purchase, it could be part of the sales process.
Oh, that's a great
Click
idea.
here to
describe the sales
describe
price.
your whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever you just bought.
Yeah.
And then it turns on your webcam and you can start recording. Anyway.
Good. In fact, we should patent that and sell it to Amazon. Right? Because Amazon has an app.
Yeah.
Right. So, and if you buy it from the app, 9 times out of 10, let's do 7 out of 10. There's going to be, a front-facing camera.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead and.
Oh no, my front-facing camera sucks compared to the back camera.
Oh yeah. There you see, and maybe that's why people aren't doing it, because the front-facing camera is usually pretty bad.
Yeah.
I think it's probably worse on this iPad.
Probably. Oh, got some blanks there.
All right.
Turn the head to the front for the blanks there.
Yeah, that was good.
That
was good.
This blank is at everyone who doubted Facebook's decision to buy Pinterest. No, I'm sorry, to buy Instagram. Because when prior to the purchase, Instagram was at 27 million users.
Right.
From their existence.
Right.
And they had been, operational for a while.
Right.
Facebook bought them. And in the span of 10 days, they got 10 million users.
10 more million.
Yeah, 10 more million in 10 days. So it's like 1 million a day.
Wow.
Counting me. Like, I wasn't an Instagram user until the purchase. And I said, okay, I might as well try it.
Yeah.
I'm on everything else.
Yeah.
Let me get on Instagram. And it's okay. It actually, it's a series of filters.
So it enables you to post pictures that you can share with, say, your mom, your dad, or when you say filters?
Well, no, filters like development filters. Like, do I want a sepia? Do I want it black and white? Do I want it, whatever.
For adjusting it, get rid of red eye, that kind of thing?
Not that complex. You can't get rid of red eye. You can just, let's see here. I'll do this. In fact, take the picture. Okay. And so, you do that, and then, and it's pretty cool, It does sync up with Facebook, Twitter, Foursquare, and all my other social platforms. Well, social apps that I have on this phone.
Right.
Which is pretty cool. So those are checked off, and once I post it, then it goes to those with the little filter effect that I chose. And so, it's okay, but
Interesting.
It's not.
It's not Photoshop.
Yeah, it's not exactly. But, and so, like, here are the filters here.
Okay.
So we'll do Chris, and I'm about to post this so y'all see it in black and white, right?
Early morning coffee. Well, late, early afternoon, just before noon coffee.
Yeah, so I'll post this, and it'll go up there, so you'll see it, and everybody else will see it.
Cool. Well, this is I think this environment, we're actually sitting in our chairs, really mellows us out a little bit, right?
I feel calm.
It's like we need a cigar and a glass of scotch and
cognac.
Yeah. And all right, well, I think that's it. One of the things I did want to mention about e-commerce, when you're doing straight e-commerce, as opposed to kind of service oriented or brick and mortar stores, one of the things you have to turn on is, first you got to have Google Analytics. We're assuming that you have that, and then you can track e-commerce through to Google Analytics. So you can literally, if you're running a pay-per-click campaign, you can literally say, this particular campaign, I spent $1,000, and it actually netted me $500, $1,500 in sales. Boom, boom. Yeah. ROI, simple, easy to calculate. Like it can't get huge. Any more traceable.
Huge. Yeah, we do that for one of our clients, and I mean, it's so granular to the point where we can go in and see, like, this particular client we're running remarketing for, and so I'm able to go in and see and compare the remarketing campaign to the regular PPC campaign to his organic traffic, and figure out which keywords, number one, are being brought in from each campaign, and then the revenue generated. I mean, down to a specific dollar and cents amount for each campaign.
Yeah.
So it's pretty, if you're doing e-com, well, if you have any site, definitely have analytics on there. And if you're doing e-com, then make sure your analytics ties in with your store's e-commerce.
Yeah.
So that way you can track things down to the dollar amount.
And one thing, just as a business owner, sometimes you just got to remind people, in a lot of cases, it's actually worth taking a small loss, because the value of a client is almost never the first and or one-time purchase.
Exactly.
So if you're spending $1,000 and you made $1,000, or even if you're spending $1,000 and you made $750, some people are like, you're dumb for losing money. But if you know that particular client, on average, that client's going to purchase twice a year or 1.5 times a year, and it's the same dollar amount, then all of a sudden, it looks a lot more attractive.
Especially if the marketing's right.
Yeah.
So after that client purchase, you left them with maybe a coupon to come back later,
right?
Or something. You encourage them to do that,
and then sign them up on a newsletter or something,
keep
where
them
you're
involved.
Engaging them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Especially if you know your product. If you know your product runs out every 90 days, and so they'll need to get a new one, then it's definitely worth taking. I won't even call it a loss, because it's not really a loss, because you'll get it back later. But it's worth taking that decrease in revenue up front, just to get it multiplied down the line.
Here's an example, an extreme example. Alarm systems, home alarm systems, when they're installed, the amount of money that goes to the installer, the cost associated with that, the company that's doing the monitoring, even though typically that's sold on I think it's a 3-year contract. Mm-hmm. At the end of that 3-year contract, the alarm company is still in the red.
Yeah.
And your obligation is over, but they know statistically that people extend that contract, and they've got so many people on the books who are paying $24.95 a month or whatever it is
for 6 years.
that works for them,
mm-hmm.
and that's how they just continue to grow those clients, grow that business. So that there's a situation where they've really done the analysis, not on a 1-year basis, not on a 2-year basis, not on the contract term 3-year basis, but really a 4-year basis. At 4 years, they're making money, and then at that point, frankly, they're banking, right? Yeah. It's $24.95 in the bank, because how many times does an alarm system call somebody? You got a call center of people. They take a 5-minute call once every 6 months for $24.95 a month for
even though they took the hit up front.
Yep.
Which is what kind of started that. That cost is $17 a click for a residential alarm system.
Yep.
In Google AdWords, and so you pay that, and understand it, and then you have to give a great offer like free installation.
Yeah.
Or $99 or something like that, and so you take that loss, if you will, for the sake of 3 years later, making 10 times more than that.
Yeah. So, all right, I think that was good. I think we covered e-commerce. We'll probably be covering it a little bit more, because we are getting more and more e-commerce clients. So it really causes us to dive into those subjects and bring our learnings to you guys when we get a chance. Remember, you are listening to the most popular SEO podcast on iTunes. I also like to say you're listening to the most popular internet marketing podcast on iTunes. That is because of you. We really do appreciate you. If you haven't gone out and written a review, if you've listened to more than 3 podcasts and you haven't written a review yet,
shame on you.
Yeah, would I don't kick in the shins? Yeah,
shins. Yeah, would have a sound. Yeah.
Kicking the shins to you.
Sounds like water splashing.
Yeah. We'll work on our sound effects. All you need to do is go on to iTunes, create an account, submit a review, and then if you want, you can send us an email. Let us know, hey, I just submitted a review. Appreciate what you guys are doing. That really keeps us motivated. We're really excited to read these positive reviews, and we're happy that most of them are positive. It's a pretty awesome feeling. Thanks to you guys. All right, well, until the next podcast, this has been podcast number 145. Until next time, my name's Chris Burris.
Charles Lewis.
Bye-bye for now.